Good evening in that distant time when I counted only 13 springs and the present already sums 39 autumns. A singular and terrifying event became ingrained in my mind, resisting the wear of time. I never managed to detach myself from that memory. I confess that I rarely shared this story, aware of the difficulty in obtaining credence for the unusual. However, upon discovering your channel, I felt an immediate impulse to narrate what had happened. Everything unfolded in a peaceful inland town in Mato Grosso, about 500 kilometers from the bustling Cuiabá. My home was a simple brick, refuge lent to us on a property where my parents and I toiled to survive. The windows boasted a celestial blue, contrasting with the white walls, and the house was embraced by a modest forest, a quiet corner of tranquility amidst nature. The field, our source of sustenance, stretched just a few meters from the house. Daily, my father and I would tread a narrow path that snaked through the woods to reach the plantation. I deeply appreciated this trail, a cool and silent corridor where the only sound was the melodious chorus of birds and the rhythmic chirping of crickets. We would depart at dawn and return at dusk, making the field itself our lunch table. The neighborhood was distant. The nearest home was a long 15 kilometers away. It was the home of Somane, a loving nickname for Emmanuel, a man who earned his living as a milkman. Our interactions were rare, but his appearances were invariably marked by a somber expression. My mother, fervently religious, always advised me to avoid contact with him, whispering about his involvement with occult arts, witchcraft, and similar matters. I feared him deeply, for his gaze possessed a disturbing intensity, bulging eyes, and an invariably burdened countenance. My father, on the other hand, defended him, attributing his taciturnity to the sadness of losing his wife. On a specific Friday, we were graced with an invitation to a birthday celebration in the city. The host was Carlinhos, a family friend and owner of the property where we resided. He supplied us with goods for resale in his store in the city. The festivity would be in honor of his daughter, who was coming of age. On that day, the anticipation for the work in the field to end and for us to depart for the party was almost palpable. It would be my first experience at a birthday celebration, and the expectation consumed me. Finally, at 6:30 in the afternoon, the work came to an end. We gathered the tools and started our way back home. Upon reaching the entrance of the trail, an unusual atmosphere enveloped us, as if the air were dense and charged. My father noticed my apprehension and asked, "Son, did you feel that?" I confirmed with a nod. We continued walking, and suddenly a nauseating odor took over the environment. It was a repulsive combination of decaying flesh, iron, and sulfur, a smell that will never be erased from my olfactory memory. My father pondered aloud, "Gee, could some animal have died in the woods?" Before I could articulate any response, a strange noise echoed through the woods, a cacophony that resembled a cross between a wild pig and a dog. A chill ran down my spine, and a knot of apprehension formed in my stomach. My father embraced me protectively, murmuring, "There's something watching us." And then, from the depths of the vegetation, that nefarious creature sprang forth. A guttural cry escaped my throat, causing the being to momentarily recoil. My father stood in front of me, brandishing a get away in the name of God." The image of that spectre has never faded from my mind. Its fur was dark and sparse, its body excessively thin and hunched. Its head resembled that of a grotesquely deformed dog, with drooping and disproportionately large ears. Long and sharp, teeth protruded from its jaw. Upon gazing into the eyes of that abomination, I swear I recognized the tenebrous intensity of Sumane's gaze. However, overcome by terror, I did not persist in looking to be certain. My father always carried a machete at his waist. In a swift gesture, He unsheathed the weapon and shouted towards the beast, "Get out of here, you beast! If you get close, I'll run you through." The demon seemed to understand the threat, emitting a howling growl similar to that of a dog, and disappeared into the dense woods. My father lifted me in his arms and ran desperately towards our house. Upon arriving, he locked the doors and windows, recounting to my mother what had happened. To his surprise, my mother did not show great astonishment, merely confirming, "I knew it, my old man, I was certain." Naturally, our going to the party was cancelled for safety reasons. The next day, my father and I went to the city and narrated the terrifying encounter to Carlinhos. His reaction was surprising. The old man must have gone back to messing with his things again. Good night to everyone. My name is Emerson Fernandez, and I live in São Paulo. The account I share now occurred in Minas Gerais, my homeland, more precisely in the city of Lagoa dos Patos, in the north of the state. This story involves my father, José Carlos, known as Carrinho Preto, my mother, Dona Maria Mercedes, affectionately called Cecinha, and my older sister, Aparecida, nicknamed Decida, who was a newborn at the time of the events. This happened approximately 48 years ago. I had not yet come into the world, but my mother, reliving those memories with me, shared a terrifying experience that she witnessed. Cecinha was pregnant with her first daughter, an immense joy for the family. The birth occurred in the village, assisted by local midwives. Donna Antonia, one of the midwives who accompanied the pregnancy and birth, advised Cecinha to baptize the child as quickly as possible, even if it was at the bonfire, due to the stories circulating in the region about the presence of a werewolf. My father, stubborn and relentless, did not believe such narratives, stating that he would face anything to protect his firstborn. Donna Antonia insisted, warning Carrinho to stop being so obstinate, as no one knew for sure what existed out there. However, my father, perhaps under the influence of alcohol, ignored the warnings. Days later, as Holy Week approached, my parents got jobs at a charcoal factory near the village. They went to live in a simple straw hut. My father, a man of the countryside, had raised a dog both to help with hunting and to guard the small yard. During Holy Week, my father decided to go hunting. My mother warned him, "Are you crazy, man? Hunting during Holy Week? You know you can't." My father retorted, "You're being foolish, woman, listening to Antonia's silly stories. No, devil. I'll wait here nearby and be right back." My mother just sighed. "Ah, okay. May God go with you." In those days, wives, even if they disagreed, rarely openly confronted their husbands. My father took a cartridge shotgun, inherited from my grandfather Chico, and went to wait. It was a full moon night, an intense moonlight that favored hunting, but which held an unexpected trial for my father's courage. Suddenly, a strong smell of putrefaction began to hang in the air. The sound of an animal moving in the woods became audible. My father cocked the shotgun. When the creature approached, he perceived that it was not a common animal. Its eyes glowed with an incandescent red, like burning embers. It had large and pointed ears, a body that mixed human and canine features, covered in bristly fur and unusually large hands and feet. My father had never seen anything like it. He exclaimed in a whisper, "My lord, what kind of demon is that?" At that instant, the beast leaped towards the tree where my father was lying in wait and began to try to climb the trunk. My father did not hesitate and fired a shot which grazed the creature. The beast let out a piercing howl and fled, staggering into the woods. My father climbed down from the tree and ran desperately to the hut. Arriving there, pale as a corpse, my mother asked, "Our Lady, man, did you see ghosts out there?" He replied breathlessly, "Cecinha, put out the lamp. There's a beast out there." At that moment, the dogs began to bark frantically. My father took a log, a cut tree trunk, used as a bench in the northeast, sat in the middle of the house and cocked the shotgun again. The dogs' barking grew closer, accompanied by yelps as if something was attacking them. Suddenly, the beast appeared in front of the hut, forcing the wooden parts of the house, trying to get in any way it could. My father fired again, this time more accurately. The beast let out another loud roar and disappeared into the woods. My mother, embracing my sister, began to pray, and they did not sleep all night. At dawn, even though exhausted and sleepy, my father decided to walk around the vicinity in search of the beast's body, as he was almost certain he had killed that demon. However, he found no trace of it. My mother went to the village and baptized my sister at the bonfire, following Donna Antonia's advice. Months later, my mother visited the home of a couple of friends, Donna Martiniana and Seodico. Upon arriving, she found only Donna Martiniana, who reported Dico's disappearance since Holy Week, believing that he had abandoned her. Upon returning home, my mother told my father about it, who since that time suspected that man, who was never seen in the vicinity again. When my mother was telling me this story, my father approached and said with conviction, "It was him." But by this time, he must already be in hell. My mother added, looking at me, "And that was for you to learn never to doubt such things, you stubborn old man." I have heard many accounts on this channel, and I do not doubt these stories, nor supernatural things. My parents are very respected people and are not ones to invent or lie about their experiences. Thank you for sharing my account, and good night.